Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
All right, let's take it from the top again. Places. Action.
Well, let's see. We have on the bags, we have who's on first, what's on second, I don't know is on third.
That's what I want to find out.
I say who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
Are you the manager?
Yes.
You going to be the coach, too?
Yes.
And you know the fellow's name?
Well, I should.
Well, then who's on first?
Yes.
I mean the fellow's name.
Who?
The guy on first.
Who?
The first baseman.
Who?
The guy playing first.
Who is on first?
I'm asking you who's on first.
That's the man's name.
That's whose name?
Yes.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
That's it.
That's who?
Yes.
Join us for another voyage back in time on Classic Radio Rewind. From adventures to westerns, from comedy to sci-fi, this is your ticket to Theater of the Mind. Without any further ado, here's your host for Classic Radio Rewind, Barry Slinker.
Thank you, Dex Rowe, and welcome to this week's edition of the Classic Radio Rewind podcast, dated June 4th, 2024. Classic Radio Rewind is made possible by the WOTR Radio Network, bringing you each and every week the best from the golden age of radio. I'm your host, Barry Slinker, and in this week's podcast, we have more great old-time radio programs coming your way. This week, we'll feature an episode from Hopalong Cassidy from 1951, followed by a one-hour episode from the Mercury Theater on the air from 1938. But leading off this week is an episode from Life with Luigi starring J. Carrol Naish. Luigi is tired of being pushed around by Pasquale and decides to stand his ground. So from June 13th, 1950, this is Life with Luigi with the episode titled Luigi Stands Up to Pasquale.
Of Wrigley Spearmint Chewing Gum invite you to enjoy Life with Luigi, a new comedy show created by Cy Howard and starring that celebrated actor, Mr. J. Carrol Naish, with Alan Reed as Pasquale. You know, friends, Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum is a typically American product that appeals to people of all ages and nationalities in all parts of our country. And the Wrigley people feel that Life with Luigi is a typically American radio program, a friendly, enjoyable show that sort of symbolizes the American spirit of tolerance and goodwill. So the makers of refreshing, delicious Wrigley Spearmint Gum are glad to bring you Life with Luigi and have you join them in this pleasant half-hour's entertainment. Now let's read Luigi's letter as he writes about his adventures in America to his Mama Basco in Italy.
Dear Mamma Mia, sometimes I'm a wonder if you kind of know how big is this beautiful country, America, and how is it compared to Italy. Mamma Mia, they got a one big state here, Texas. Is it take up so much room with the rest of the country as it got to squeeze it together or it would all fall into the ocean? I guess the reason I'm writing you about Texas is because I've been thinking about Pasquale's daughter Rosa. Texas is the biggest state in the Union, and Rosa is the biggest girl in the Union. And I'm a think, if these two was the only ones left in America, Rosa would have pushed Texas into the ocean. Mamma mia, lately, my countryman Pasquale, he's bothered me so much about Rosa, I'm go almost crazy. So last night, I took her to the movies, and what's happened? I bought 2 seats, we went in, Rosa sat down, and I had to stand all the night. Next time, I better reserve half of the balcony. But anyway, I'm told Pasquale about this, and again he's started to insult me. He's a holler and a holler until he's kept me late for my night school class. So that I'm left him there and I run away to my school teacher, Miss Spaulding, who I'm going to ask her advice on what I should do.
All right, class. Quiet, please, please. I'll call a roll. Mr. Basco? Well, he's absent tonight. Mr. Horowitz?
Yeah?
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
Mr. Schultz?
Absent. To know Schultz is to adore a fool.
All right, Mr. Fool. I mean, Mr. Schultz. Now, let's get on with our lesson.
I'm here, Miss Spaulding.
You're late, Mr. Basco. Please sit down. Now, class, tonight in our grammar lesson, we are studying clauses. And who will volunteer to give us a sentence containing a clause? Mr. Horowitz?
Miss Spaulding, every time you ask for a volunteer, right away you call on me. Fortunately, today I know the answer.
Good. You may give us a sentence containing a clause.
John chased the cat.
And where's the clause?
On the cat's feet.
No, Mr. Horowitz, you should know by this time what a clause is.
Well, I do know, Miss Spaulding, believe me. But when you call on me, I get nervous and I forget. So don't call on me, and I'll guarantee I'll know the answer.
That sounds reasonable.
Well, all right, Mr. Schultz, suppose you tell us what a clause is.
Certainly. A clause is a little thing in a big sentence.
What do you mean?
Well, now, inside a big sentence, there could be a little sentence which has got its own nouns, adverbs, verbs, adjectives. Now, this little sentence has got everything the big sentence has got, only it ain't got the location, so it can't start up by itself in business.
Miss Spaulding, I know you like to save me only for emergencies. But if you wish, I will give the correct answer now.
There he goes. The round brain and the square head.
Just ignore him. Mr. Olson, yes, you may give us a sentence with a clause.
Ja. Jan and Jack, because they needed money, opened up a general store in Poughkeepsie.
Good. Now, Mr. Basco, in that sentence, where's the clause?
In a Poughkeepsie.
What? Mr. Basco, you've been staring out of the window ever since class started. What are you thinking about?
What a Pasquale. He's nagging me so much lately, I'm start to feel very bad.
Mm-hmm. Luigi, if we told you once, we told you 1,000,000 times. You should leave Pasquale and go out on your own.
Ja, that's right, by Jiminy. That Pasquale will always be just a big yerk.
Yeah, but friends is a hard thing to do. What do you think, Miss Spaulding?
Well, Mr. Basco, have you ever thought of using psychology on Mr. Pasquale?
Oh, no, Miss Spaulding. I would have never hit him with anything.
No. Look, psychology, that's applying a method which would appeal to his mind.
Impossible. Pasquale ain't got it, no mind.
Mr. Schultz, please. You know, Mr. Basco, I've noticed that you're always very meek in Mr. Pasquale's presence. And when he nags you or insults you, you say very little. So perhaps if you assume just the opposite attitude, his attitude might undergo a complete change, too.
What do you mean, Miss Spaulding?
Luigi, it's simple. You got to stand up to him.
Oh, that's right, Luigi. Tell him you will leave him, and I'll bet you he stops pestering you.
That's a wonderful idea, Luigi. Now, next time Pasquale opens up his mouth, you just fold your arms and say, Pasquale, one more word out of you, and I am getting out of here. Yeah, but do you think it's going to work?
Well, why don't you try it, Mr. Basco? Nothing else has succeeded.
Luigi, it's bound to work. You see, you produce a psychogenic reaction in Pasquale, which releases infantile fears and aggressions, causing his defense mechanism to drop and his maintenance of composure and assurance to be eliminated.
Why?
Oh, that was Schultz, that's wonderful. Yeah, Schultz, that's so wonderful. What does it mean? Luigi, it was tough enough memorizing it. I gotta know what it means, too.
Luigi, my friend. Hello, Luigi. Hello.
Hi, Pasquale.
Hi, Pasquale?
Yeah.
What's the matter, my little banana nose? You look like you carry around a potato chips on your shoulder.
Pasquale, you looking on a different Luigi.
You know, look different to me. Still got the same old cabbage puss. Little pumpkin seeds for eyes. And a little...
Yeah, but Pasquale, I'm talking about my psychology. I'm independent.
Well. I suppose you got an important date with your rich friend, the Rockefeller. You gonna borrow a cup of oil, maybe?
Pasquale, I'm warning you, is it gonna be the last straw?
So what if it's the last straw? Drink it from the bottle. What are you so independent about? If you're leaving me, where you gonna sleep? Or how you gonna eat? You gonna get a job, could it be?
Could it be?
I said that first. All right, let's look on the jobs. In the post office, are you impossible? Is the civil service a job? You gotta be a veteran of the Civil War for that.
Well, all right, then could be a barber.
That's impossible, too. You ain't got no high school diploma, so you can't get into the barbers of college.
Then I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna wash the floors, clean the windows, sell the fruit, anything.
Ain't gonna help you one bit, Mr. Jobber. First of all, I read in the papers today that every empty job in America is taken.
Huh? Taken?
That's right. They got 5 people for every 2 jobs, which means there's 2.5 people looking for 1 job. That's the statistics.
You mean 2.5 people is looking for 1 job?
That's right. The 2 big fellas and 1 midget. Now go ahead and look me in the face and tell me you're gonna take away a job from a midget.
Well, Pasquale is a big country. There must be something I can do.
Sure, with you brains and you training, which you ain't got. Only thing you can do is buy a little monkey, a tin cup, and an organ.
Now, Pasquale,
maybe
don't
that
talk
way
like
you could have grind out a living.
Yeah. Pasquale, 1 more word out of you, and I'm leaving.
What? Are you leaving?
That's right.
All right, get out of here.
What? You mean that?
You heard me. Good ribbons to bad radish, or whatever they say. Get out of here, and remember, don't ever open this door and darken my face again.
Yeah, but, Pasquale, ain't you sorry for what you said?
That's a fine way to talk to me. Fellow what's brought you from the older country. Fellow who... Oh, what's the use? It's only proving what they say. A snake in the grass is worth 2 in the bush. Go! I don't want to look on you.
Yeah, but Pasquale, don't you know nothing about the psychology?
I know nothing about nothing. But I know this. I want you out by tonight, and I don't care if you travel, find a job, and even get rich.
You don't think?
No. And if you pass me on the street, don't even bother to say hello, because we're going to be living in different cities.
Before we return to Life with Luigi, I'd like to suggest an easy, inexpensive way to make your daily work more enjoyable. Keep some Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum handy. It's a treat you can enjoy almost any time, even when you're working at a fast pace. You'll find the lively, full-bodied, real mint flavor refreshing. It cools your mouth, helps keep your throat moist, and the good, smooth chewing gives you a feeling of satisfaction while you work. It helps break the monotony and makes the job seem a bit easier. Get a few packages of delicious Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum when you go out tomorrow morning. Enjoy chewing Wrigley's Spearmint while you work. You will feel better and work better. And now let's turn to page 2 of Luigi Basco's letter to his mother in Italy.
And so, Mamma mia, is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. The psychology is no work, and now I'm really sick. I'm gotta live here. Where I don't know. First, I thought I'm take my life savings and travel away from Chicago. But then I thought, how far could the subway take me? Anyway, now I'm sitting in my store, wondering what I should do, when suddenly my door is open up and Schultz is come in.
Luigi, my fellow boob.
Oh, hello, Schultz.
No, Luigi, what's the matter? Himmel, tears in your eyes. No, you was crying. No, please, Luigi, don't cry. I couldn't stood it. You look like an Italian popsicle.
Well, Schultz, Pasquale is throw me out. The psychology is no work.
What?
That's right. He's said 2 snakes is worse than a radish in the grass. So he said I should never say hello to him in a different city because he's going to have a darker face.
Himmel, Himmel, Luigi, are you verschimmelt? But it's only our fault, Luigi. We gave you the wrong advice.
No, Schultz, you tried. But now I'm gotta go somewhere else. But where?
Ach, smile, Luigi. You're coming to live with me.
Huh?
Yeah,
with you?
Me and my happy little family. There's me, my wife Frieda, the 3 children, Uncle Hugo, Aunt Matilda, her nephew Wolfgang, his sister Anna, cousin Jake, Grandpa Max, and the rest of the family.
Sure, so you got enough place for me?
No, sure, Luigi. We just moved to a new apartment.
Oh, no apartment? How many rooms you got?
2. No, stop, Luigi. I know just what you're thinking. What do we do with so much room? Well, we invite in some friends to live with us. So smile.
No, Schultz, you don't got enough room. Is there no place for me to sleep?
Ach, stop, smile. We got it all figured out. Me and my wife and the 3 children, we sleep in the big bed. Uncle Hugo and his wife, they got the cot. Cousin Wolfgang has got the Morris chair. Aunt Matilda sleeps on the ironing board. And Grandpa Max on the television set.
On the television set?
Yeah, and believe me, he's the best thing on television today.
Well, is it no sound possible? Where he's a finer place to sleep on a television set?
Oh, there's plenty of room. Between Channel 9 and Channel 11, they got nothing. You should have seen him last Sunday. You know, he overslept. The tubes got hot. He was jumping around, and all night long it was Hopalong Grandpa. That's right, Luigi. Laugh. Be happy. Never worry. The only difference between me and the warrior is we both got nothing, but the other fellows got wrinkles.
Sure, see, you're a wonderful person. But is it time I should have learned to figure out the things for myself?
But what can you do, Luigi?
Well, I'm going out and finding myself a job.
Aha, that's a good idea. If you hang around here with Pasquale, you're going to wind up with a skinny future and a fat wife. So the first thing I'm going to do to help you, Luigi, is send you to an employment agency.
Employment agency?
That's right. They're going to help you find a job, any kind of job.
Yeah, but you think they're going to find the one for me, Schultz?
I'm positive. Now I write down the address, and you go there.
All right.
And smile, Luigi. Show the teeth. Like that. That's right. Be like me. Always happy, always laughing. Ooh. My rheumatism is killing me.
You filled out the application properly. You don't tell us what previous jobs you've held.
Well, Miss Employment lady, since I'm in this country, I'm always worked for myself.
I see. And how much did you earn?
That's the trouble. I was my own boss, but I never could afford to pay myself for what I'm earned.
Well, Mr. Basco, as regards wages, how much money do you expect?
It depends. How much money you got?
You don't understand. We don't pay you the money. We just give you the job.
What kind of a job is this where I'm going to get paid?
Mr. Basco, your employer pays you. All we get is your first week's salary.
You got my first week's salary?
Yes.
Why? You do my first week's work?
No, of course not.
That's a funny thing. Is it like being married without a wife?
No, it's only our fee, and we'll straighten it out. The important thing is to find you a job. Do you know office work?
Well, I think I could work in an office.
Well, you have to have more than a desire. Some typing, bookkeeping. How's your shorthand?
How's my shorthand?
Yes.
Please, lady, this sleeve is a little longer than the other one, but both of my hands are the same size.
I guess office work is out.
Look, Miss Employment. Maybe you can find me work in a restaurant. Yeah, sometimes I'm a help out in a Pasquale's Spaghetti Palace.
Well, fine. I can get you a job in dozens of coffee pots.
Coffee pots?
Certainly. You know what a coffee pot is, don't you?
Oh, sure. That's the pot where you make the coffee in. But how am I going to work in one?
Oh, don't worry. Now, you take this note down to Jones' Hash House and see if you can...
Hey, waiter, how long do I have to sit at this table for my order? I asked for 2 fried eggs on toast.
Basco, did you call his order into the kitchen?
Yes, Mr. Jones. I'm a hollered the 2 fried eggs and a toast.
Well, how do you expect the chef to understand you? It's Adam and Eve on a raft!
Then he knows I'm a 1 or 2 fried eggs and a toast?
That's right.
Maybe he's right, but he's not English.
That's restaurant lingo, Basco. I thought you said you had experience.
Hey, waiter, how about some spare ribs?
All right, sure. Want to order the spare ribs?
No. What do you think the chef is, anyway? A magician? How will he know if you want spare ribs if you just say spare ribs?
You think would it be better if I'm just to say lamb chops?
Oh, brother, if you want spare ribs, you holler, a shack of bones! Now he knows what you're talking about.
Oh, well, he's all so simple.
Sure, just listen to me. You'll get it, I hope.
Some coffee, bub.
Draw 1.
Draw 1.
No cream, make it dark.
Pull down the shades. Hey, Basco, what you doing?
I'm pulling down the shades like you said.
Stop. I was just trying...
Hey, where's my eggs?
Oh, yes. Is Adam and Eve in a lifeboat?
On a raft.
Where's my coffee and my spare ribs?
Yeah, pull it down to the curtain as it coming up a lifeboat with Adam and Eve is a stack of a bone.
Oh,
Hello, Schultz.
Well, if it ain't Pasquale, the answer to a meatball's prayer.
Please, Schultz, I'm no one to argue with you. My heart is heavy.
That's not the only thing. You should be ashamed of yourselves the way you threw out Luigi.
Schultz, since that day, I'm no can sleep. I'm no enjoy at a thing. I'm terrible ashamed of myself. You believe me, don't you, Schultz?
Sure, like Maisie believes Gimbals.
Honest, Schultz, I'm a swear, pinky to the sky. I would do anything to get that boy back.
Well, it's too late now, Pasquale. Luigi's got a job, and he's very happy.
Don't say that, Schultz. I'm not gonna stand. Luigi should be happy. I mean, without me. Where is he?
I ain't talking.
All right. Serves me right to my heart. I should have break in a teeny-weeny pieces. In a teeny-weeny pieces. In a teeny-weeny pieces.
No, please, you're dirtying up my floor with the pieces.
Before I'm go, Schultz, I'm asking you like a dying man.
It's no use. As far as I'm concerned, Luigi is happy. At Jones' hash house on 384 6th Street, and you should never bother him again between 7 and 5 when he works there.
Thank you, Schultz.
Hey, let's have a stack of wheat cakes.
Sure. Stack of wheat. So what's the order, bud?
A couple of eggs.
How do you want them?
Fry 'em on both sides.
Let's have a 2 and flop them over easy. What's the use, pal?
Give me a hamburger with onion on it.
Grind the dog and a pin of rose on him.
Boy, Basco, you really caught on quick.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Sure, take those extra tables, kid. The joint's getting crowded.
All right, sure. Hey, where is the stack of wheat, sir?
Hey, Luigi. Hello.
Huh? Sorry, bud, this ain't to my table.
Luigi, look, it's me, Pasquale.
Sorry, you must have been thinking of another waiter.
Hey, can I have a ham sandwich to go out?
What do you want, the girlie?
A ham sandwich to go out.
Dress one a pig to go for a walk.
Luigi, what's happening to you? You don't even talk English anymore.
Look, bud, look, I'm only got 2 hands. You better get another waiter.
Luigi, don't look at me like that. This is a Pasquale, your countryman, a fellow who's brought you to America.
Coffee, please.
Draw 1.
What's that, Basco?
1 cup of mud.
Luigi, I know I was wrong, and when I'm gonna do something wrong, I'm the first one to admit it.
Okay, girlie, this little piggy is ready to go.
Well, where's the coffee?
Hey, Effiche, where's the office?
Luigi, maybe you don't want to look on me no more, but I'm gonna bring somebody else with me. Please, Luigi, let me call her in, just to stay here. Rosa! Rosa! Rosa!
You called me, Papa?
Yes, my little pigeon. Rosa, look on Luigi. Tell him what you would want the most of all.
Most of all?
Yes, and tell him what you need to make you happy.
6 lamb chops and lots of potatoes.
Oh, shut up your face. Luigi, please, listen.
How's about that beef sandwich?
Beef sandwich, 1 cow between the sheets.
Luigi, please.
Look, about I'm told you I'm only got 2 hands and this ain't to my table.
Come, Rosa, it's no use.
Watch it, Basco. That's the 4th dish you broke today.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Jones.
Hey, where is my milk?
I'm sorry. Squeeze Adam and Eve. Squeeze a cow on a rafter.
Basco, take off that apron.
What?
You fouled everything up around here. I never saw such a change in a man. You picked up everything in no time, and just as soon as that, you forgot everything.
Yeah, but please, Mr. Jones, my mind is...
That's it. Your mind is not, period. Since that guy and the fat dame left, you haven't been the same. You're fired.
Fired?
Yeah.
Oh, no. No, please, Mr. Jones. You can't fire me. I'm got no place to go. Now that I'm a Mr. Pasquale, I was acting terribly to him. He's never gonna see me no more.
I don't care. Pack up your things and go. You're fired. Through. Finished. Oh. Hello?
Hello, is Mr. Basco there?
Yes, just a minute. Here, Basco, for you.
Me? Hello, this is me.
Mr. Basco, we never do anything like this, but it seems another party wants you very badly. If your other boss consents, would you go to work in another restaurant?
Oh, yeah, sure. Where is it?
At 25 North Halsted Street.
25 on North Halsted Street. I'm on 21 on North Halsted Street. That's next door to my antique shop. Hey, that's a here's a spaghetti palace, Pasquale Spaghetti Palace.
That's right. He's offering you $10 more a week.
10?
All right, to make it a 20.
Huh? Who's that?
Please, Luigi, don't hang up. I give you 26 weeks off during the summer, 13 off during the winter, 6 weeks of pension, a double time for holidays, and triple the time when you don't feel tired. Luigi, say yes and making me happy.
Oh, Pasquale, yes. For you, I'm a work for nothing.
Luigi, you just made me the happiest man in the world. You're coming home, Luigi.
Sure, Pasquale.
Welcome, my son.
Hello, Papa. And so, Mamma Mia, everything is a work out fine. I'm back in my antique shop, and I'm also helping out Pasquale in his story. But a funny thing is happening, Mamma Mia. I'm a miss something. I'm not feel right. I don't know what it is, but it's something that is gone out of my life, and I'm not feel right.
What's the idea, you stupid greenhorn booby? You ain't got the brains of a jackass. Why I brought you from the older country, I'll never know.
No, wait, stop it, Pasquale. Wait, I'm gonna finish this letter. Mamma mia, I'm feel very happy now. I'm found out what I'm missed in life. Yeah, was a Pasquale's insult. He's my good friend. And now, Mamma mia, I'm home again. Your loving son, Luigi Basco, a little immigrant.
Folks, the makers of Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum hope you enjoyed tonight's episode of Life with Luigi, and they'd like to remind you that Wrigley's Spearmint is just about the perfect taste treat to enjoy between your meals. During the morning or afternoon, when you get a little hankering for something tasty, slip a stick of Wrigley's Spearmint Gum into your mouth. Chew on it and get the full enjoyment of the pleasant chewing and the refreshing, delicious, real mint flavor. That little stick of Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum will satisfy you without spoiling your appetite for lunch or supper. Try it, won't you? Keep some Wrigley's Spearmint Gum handy to enjoy between your meals. Friends, so that the members of the Life with Luigi cast may enjoy a well-earned vacation, this program will be off the air for the next 8 weeks. However, the makers of Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum invite you to listen next week at this same time when they will bring you from Hollywood the romantic adventure show, Romance. Life with Luigi is produced and directed by Cy Howard. Mac Benoff writes the script with Lou Derman. J. Carol Nash is starred as Luigi Basco with Alan Reed as Pasquale, Hans Conried as Schultz, Jody Gilbert as Rosa, Mary Shipp as Miss Spaulding, Joe Forte as Horowitz, and Ken Peters as Olson. Music is under the direction of Lud Gluskin. And so, folks, until we're back on the air 8 weeks from now with Life with Luigi, this is Bob Stevenson speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
That was Life with Luigi, starring J. Carol Nash, with the episode titled Luigi Stands Up to Pasquale from June 13th, 1950. Coming up next on Classic Radio Rewind is an episode from Hopalong Cassidy starring William Boyd. In this episode, killers are chasing out the homesteaders, stealing the cattle, and blaming the mountain lions. It's Hopalong Cassidy and The Killers of Lion Canyon, as originally heard, December 29th, 1951.
With action and suspense out of the Old West comes the most famous hero of them all, Hopalong Cassidy, starring William Boyd. The ring of the silver spurs heralds the most amazing man ever to ride the prairies of the early West, Hopalong Cassidy, the same Hoppy you cheer in motion pictures, and the same California you've laughed at a million times. Raw courage and quick shooting have built a legend around this famous hero. Hopalong is a name to be feared, respected, and admired, for this great cowboy rides the trails of adventure and excitement. William Boyd as Hopalong Cassidy, and Andy Clyde as California. What's our story this time, Hoppy?
We call this one The Killers of Lion Canyon. California and I were riding into Skeleton Mountains. That's a range not far west of the Bar 20, where an old pal of mine had taken up homestead a few years back. He had written to me what good grass there was, and I thought we might use some of it for Bar 20 range. We were just getting up to where the pine trees grow. The horses had their heads down as they worked their way up a steep canyon trail.
Hoppy, this here mountain air sure makes a man hungry, don't it?
Back there on the prairie, we cooked more than you could eat.
Yeah, I know, but there's something about this here altitude. Doggone. Hoppy, I thought you had friends around here. That ain't no friendly greeting.
No, it isn't. Wait a minute. Look.
There's someone coming.
I don't know this man, California. Get ready.
Gun's right here in my hand.
Howdy, friends, howdy. Hey, put away your guns. I apologize for the shooting. My mistake, friends. I thought you was a mountain lion.
Do we look like mountain lions, mister?
No, not at close range. I saw something move, and this is Lion Canyon, and it's full of hungry critters.
Sure, and that makes them mean, like me. I'm hungry, too, and when
Never mind, California.
I guess you must be strangers in here. I'm Lou Rucker. If there's anything I can do, just name it.
Cassidy's my name, and this is California Carlson.
It wouldn't be Hopalong Cassidy, would it?
It would.
Well, I'm sure proud to meet you men. Now, if I can help you in any way, you just go right ahead and ask.
That's kind of you, Rucker. I'm looking for an old friend of mine, Ray Wilson, a homesteader. He took up some land at a place called Paradise Flats.
Ray, Wilson? Well, I don't know. Wilson was moving out.
Moving out? That doesn't sound like Ray. Would anything be running him out, Rucker?
Well, when a man can't make a living, he moves, don't he, Cassidy? I tell you, you ride up to the Paradise Flats store and ask about him.
How do we get to the Paradise store?
Follow this trail a short piece till it forks. Turn right. The left fork won't take you nowhere.
I see. Turn right, not left.
Yeah, that's it. The left fork continues on up in Lion Canyon. Them varmints will jump a man anytime.
They're that bad, are they? Well, thank you, Rucker. I hope we'll see you again. Come on, California.
Hoppy, that Rucker feller seems real friendly.
Yeah, too friendly.
What you mean?
I think he took a shot at us for one thing. And I don't remember Ray Wilson as a man who would move away from a good piece of grassland.
Hoppy, you're just looking for trouble.
I'm not looking for it, but I'm beginning to smell it. Well, here's the forks. We turn left.
Hey, hold on. Rucker said turn right.
That's why we're going left. Rucker was too anxious. There must be something in this Lion Canyon, something Rucker doesn't want us to see. California, look. There's a horse running up the trail.
And no rider on him.
Let's go.
That broomtail sure is running, Hoppy. We ain't never going to catch up with him.
I know, but we can trail it and find out about the owner. Must be headed toward a ranch somewhere. Say,
what you seeing, Hoppy?
There's something else ahead. Can't make it out just yet. Looks like a man.
You ain't wrong either. There, that is a man, all right. Laying there aside the creek.
And he's laying face down. Hold up a minute. Let's get down and have a look. Now then, here. Turn him over.
Gee, Hossafat. Look at that face. Clawed by a mountain lion, sure enough.
And that isn't all of it. This is Ray Wilson.
Now, back to Hopalong Cassidy and our story, The Killers of Lion Canyon. Riding to see Ray Wilson, Hoppy and California are fired upon by Lou Rucker, who claims he was shooting at a mountain lion. Not trusting Rucker, Hoppy ignores his warning to stay out of Lion Canyon. There, they come upon a riderless horse, and soon afterwards, an unconscious man, Ray Wilson.
That's lucky we got here as soon as we did. He isn't dead.
Tain't the lion's fault. It done its best. Maybe Wilson was climbing this here cliff where the water comes over. He might have fell off and the lion jumped him. That could have knocked him out.
If it was a lion. I'm not so sure. Anyway, this bandana stops the blood. Now help me get him up on my horse. Steady him now. Let me swing up first. All right. We'll get him here in front of me in the saddle. There we are.
Good thing he ain't triplets the size of him. Whoa. Hold still, you old lop ear. Yeah.
I think we can track that riderless horse. We'll get somewhere. Maybe to Paradise Flats.
Yeah, and maybe we'll get someplace where we don't want to be. But let's go.
Well, there's the Paradise Flats General Store. But that horse, that isn't a riderless one.
Sure ain't. That's Palomino.
Yeah, it is. The same kind Rucker was riding.
What you figure that means, Hoppy?
Trouble.
Say, look over there, across from the store. Looks like an old mine tunnel with the entrance boarded up.
Yeah, but there are a lot of old mines in these mountains. Now ease over toward the store, California. We'll get Wilson inside.
I wonder what they got in this store in the way of thirst-quenching, stomach-filling victuals. Huh?
Cassidy, I thought I told you to... What's that you got there in your saddle?
Oh, just like you said, Rucker. Mountain lions is bad in that canyon. This feller'd get jumped.
Rucker, we need a doctor.
A doctor? Why, sure, Cassidy. Lucky there's a doctor right inside. He owns the store. Now, just ease this man out of your saddle. I'll carry him in.
All right.
There, I got him.
Lay him there on the counter, Rucker.
Too bad about this. It's your friend Ray Wilson, ain't it?
I think you know that.
Well, you can leave him with me, Cassidy. I'll take care of him.
I thought you said there was a doctor here.
What? Yeah, I guess maybe
well,
I did.
You better produce that doctor now.
Oh, sure. Brody? Dr. Brody? Dr. Brody, here's a patient for you.
A patient? For me?
That's right, Doctor. Got clawed by a mountain lion. This is Hopalong Cassidy in California, Carlson. They found him.
How come they did? What were they doing up Lion Canyon? How come they was let to go up Lion Canyon anyway?
They took a wrong turn. I told them how to turn to get to the store here.
And why didn't they?
Well, either they didn't remember my directions or they didn't want to remember.
Dr. Brody, let's take care of this man. We stopped the blood, but something struck him on the head.
I see. A cranial contusion. Concussion, no doubt. Best thing is to get him to my back room, my operating room. Rucker, you carry him.
I'll do the carrying.
No need of that, Cassidy. He's in good hands now. You just leave him with us.
Rucker, when this man comes to, I want to hear what he has to say. Maybe you understand why.
Is that accusing me of something, Cassidy?
I don't accuse until I have all the facts, Rucker. But I might do some accusing when Ray Wilson gives me the facts.
Hoppy, there's a wagon outside. There's a woman and a boy in it.
Rucker, take the patient into the back room before Mrs.
No,
Wilson...
Rucker, keep your hands off.
Oh, Mr. Rucker. Mr. Rucker, have you seen Ray?
Yeah. Dad's horse came home without him. Dad.
Oh, Ray.
Ray isn't dead, ma'am. Now, please don't worry.
Hoppy, you want me to try and...
Why, you're Hopalong Cassidy. And you're California. Ray was always talking about you, too. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. This is our boy, Jimmy.
How are you, son? Mrs. Wilson, Dr. Brody says he can help Ray. What do you think?
Dr. Brody? Since when was he a doctor?
That's just what I thought. Brody, I didn't think you were even a horse doctor. Mrs. Wilson, how far is it to your place?
Only a mile, just over and down the first ridge.
Well, I hate to move Ray, but we must. California, you ease Ray up and get him out to the wagon.
Cassidy, I'm warning you. Don't you move that man.
Save your breath, Rucker. Go ahead, California. Mrs. Wilson, you and Jimmy, too. I'll be out in a minute.
Hoppy, I hate to leave you with these rattlesnakes, but you're the boss. Help me hoist Ray onto my shoulder.
All right.
I'm holding the door for you, California.
Rucker, you letting them get away with this?
Unless you got any better ideas, Brody, shut up.
Rucker, that's very good advice.
And I got some for you, too, Cassidy. Get out of this country. You and that partner of yours.
Not till after we've heard Ray Wilson talk. If it's trouble you're looking for, Rucker, let's have it now.
Yeah. You're plenty fast on the draw, Cassidy. But that ain't my way.
No. You have what you call mountain lions do your fighting. Well, Rucker, tell your lions they can find me at Ray Wilson's place anytime tonight. All right, Mrs. Wilson. You've done what you can for Ray. He'll come out of it soon. He's comfortable on this couch. Let's just leave him a while.
Oh, Hoppy, I'm so grateful to you in California. Now, please sit down. Any place. Oh, I didn't notice it's getting dark. I'd better light this table lamp. There. That's better. Jimmy, stay near your father and call me if he stirs any.
Ain't it funny how a table always makes me think of eating?
Oh, why, you poor man. You must be starved. I'll go and fix something.
Well, any old thing will do, Mrs. Wilson. Just some meat and potatoes and coffee and a little cream and maybe a piece of pie if you got it.
Are you sure that's all, California?
Well, I could use some beans and a little hot gravy and maybe a small plate of hot biscuits dripping with butter and honey and...
Hold on. I think Mrs. Wilson has the idea.
Oh, dear. Well, I'll have to see what's in the kitchen.
California is always empty, Mrs. Wilson. But first, I want to know a few things. Why were you and Ray leaving Paradise Flats?
Well, everyone has left. We're just small homesteaders with only a few cows. But our herds have simply vanished. 2 or 3 at a time.
Did the mountain lions get them?
Well, that's what we had to believe. But the strange thing is, we never found any carcasses.
Mrs. Wilson, why did Ray want to leave?
Oh, Ray didn't want to leave at all. Paradise Flats has such fine grass. It's a big mountain meadow.
Has anyone else wanted it? For instance, Rucker or Brody?
Well, they have said Paradise Flats should be one big ranch instead of being filled with homesteaders, but they always acted friendly enough.
So you can't say what happened to your cattle?
No, I can't. We had only a herd of 10 cows left. Last week, they vanished all at once.
And still no sign of where they went?
No. Except last night, Ray told me he'd found something.
Something he wanted to go out and take a look at before we pulled out today. I don't know where it was.
Mom, Dad's talking.
What did he say, son?
I couldn't tell.
Maybe he'll talk to you, Mrs. Wilson.
Ray. What is it, Ray? Tell me.
Don't whip Jimmy. He found the...
Jimmy, what in the world is your father saying? Why should you be whipped?
I guess maybe because I rode in the Lion Canyon yesterday.
You've been warned about that.
Yes, but I just had to see it. Just once before we left.
And what was it you found, son?
A sort of a hole. A big one. Up behind some willows. I was looking in. Then a lion screamed at me. I sure got out of there fast.
Hoppy, that makes sense. Lions. Just like Rucker said.
It begins to make something else, too. Son, could that be an old mine you found?
Sort of, yes. I told Dad about it, and I think that's where he went today.
Hoppy, what you figure that makes?
A shortcut, maybe, through the ridge. There's an old mine entrance up near the store, remember? And today Rucker beat us over there from Lion Canyon.
You're dead right, Hoppy. He sure did.
If Ray could just tell us a little more.
He hasn't even whispered.
A doctor could bring him out of it, Mrs. Wilson. How far is it to a doctor?
20 miles around the mountain by the road.
But, Mom, it's only 5 straight across. I could ride it. Dad's horse is still saddled out there in the shed.
Mrs. Wilson, it's our best chance. The boy can do it. Go ahead, son.
On my way, sir.
You got a fine boy there, Mrs. Wilson. No need to worry about him.
Speaking about worrying, Hoppy, my stomach's sure getting worried that maybe I ain't got the brains enough to feed it.
All right, California. If Mrs. Wilson wants to start supper.
Oh, yes, I'd better see what there is. Most of our stores are packed, but there must be something left.
There sure better be, because I'm getting mighty old-fired weak from...
Jimmy!
Grab your gun, California, out in front. Over there, near our horses. Come on.
There he is, Hoppy. Off to the left. I'll get him.
Hold it, California. That's the boy. Head toward him.
Hoppy!
Right here. Easy now. What happened, son?
I was walking in the shed in the dark, and someone was here at your horses. He saw me and then fired 2 shots. Didn't hit me. Then he ran off.
Could you tell who it was?
In the gun flash, it looked like Mr. Brody from the Paradise Store.
Hoppy, look. The house went dark.
Come on. Mrs. Wilson.
Oh, they're after Ray. They shoved me out and locked the door.
Let's break it down. Come on, California. Both together now. Keep your gun ready.
He's gone. Ray's gone. They've kidnapped him.
Now, back to Hopalong Cassidy and our story, The Killers of Lion Canyon. While Hoppy and California are trying to understand what had knocked their friend Ray Wilson unconscious, sudden gunshots draw them outside the ranch house. A moment later, they hear Mrs. Wilson scream. Running back into the house, they find that Ray Wilson has been kidnapped.
It was all so fast, I just don't know what happened.
I see how it was, Mrs. Wilson. One man drew us out with a shot near our horses. Someone else sneaked in here through the back door and took Ray.
Yes. Ray tried to sit up when you went out. He seemed almost well. I think he was trying to talk.
Those 2 didn't dare let him talk. They had to get him away so he couldn't tell us what he knows.
I heard their horses, Hoppy. I can tell which way they went, even in the dark. They're taking the ridge trail over to the Paradise Store.
Good work, son. Have you got your dad's horse ready?
Yes, sir.
Can you lead us to that hole you found on the side of Lion Canyon?
I sure can. We can go right up to it. It's around a sort of a rocky cliff.
Hoppy, what in tarnation's the good of that?
I'm staking everything. It's a shortcut through the ridge.
We might even get to the Paradise Store before they do.
Well, doggone.
Now, Mrs. Wilson, don't worry. Come on, California. Jimmy, let's go.
What's the use of having horses if all we do is walk? And up a stream, too.
Keep on coming, California. You have one thing to be thankful for. There's a full moon tonight, so we can see our way. Jimmy, how much farther?
These here are the willows. The opening is just on through. There it is. See? This stream comes right out of a big hole in the mountain.
Yeah, it does. Hold on a minute.
Hoppy, that rock cliff we just come around is where we found Ray Wilson this afternoon.
That's right. And this is an old mine entrance, high enough to lead our horses in. You got your gun ready?
Why, you figured we might meet with that there mountain lion?
If we do, it'll have only 2 legs. You follow me. Jimmy, drop in behind. Come on.
Plumb black in here, ain't it? Cold. Oh, cold as ice.
Yeah, I can feel it. Jimmy, you all right?
Sure, Hoppy.
I never did like being under no mountain. Like being buried in a grave.
Keep up close to me, California. We're getting along fine.
Oh! Doggone it. Hoppy. Wait. I dropped my gun.
All right. See if you can find it. Can you find it?
No, the gone darn thing, but here's something. Feels like a piece of ice.
I'd better strike a match.
Jumping catfish. It is ice.
Yeah. And look, here's a door with bars across it, off at one side. Why, it's a room. The walls are coated with ice.
Hoppy, are you seeing what I'm seeing in there? Oh, and the match went out. Here, I'll get it. See that?
Yeah, that's butchered beef, hung up on racks.
Well, I heard tell of ice in mountain caves, but this is the first time I ever actually seen it.
Let me see, too.
Come ahead, son.
Say, I'll bet this is what Dad found.
Well, if he didn't, he came pretty close.
There goes the match again. I'll light another, Hoppy.
We don't need it. This explains enough. The cows were brought here by walking into that stream we followed. That's why they never left any tracks. Then they were butchered.
You think it was Rucker and Brody that did it, Hoppy?
Well, that's my guess. Jimmy, how did Brody have supplies hauled to his store?
In a big covered wagon.
Sure. Then the beef was taken out the front entrance of the mine. The covered wagon hauled it off to be sold. That's the way the homesteaders have been robbed.
That still don't get us out of here.
The front entrance can't be far. I figure the ridge over us is high and narrow. This tunnel won't be long. You got your gun, California?
Yep, I picked her up.
All right, come on. Go slow now. I see something ahead.
Yeah, getting kind of light ahead up there, ain't it?
The mine entrance is open. There's a little moonlight. That entrance was closed today.
Maybe someone heard us.
Better stop. California, you come ahead with me. Jimmy, you stay here with the horses.
Yes, sir.
You think you can manage all 3 horses by yourself?
I'll do my best, sir.
Good boy. All right, California. Let's go. So far, so good. No one in the mine and no one here in front of the store.
I don't see how you know where you are. Darn near as dark in here as it was in the mine.
Yeah. Follow me along beside the building. You remember Brody had a back room. Look, California. There's a light coming through a crack. Go up easy now.
Looks like the light's coming from around the door.
Here it is. I'll take a peek inside.
See anything, Hoppy?
Ray Wilson's in there. He's sitting up on a box. Brody's with him.
I wonder where Rucker is.
He's right behind you. Drop those guns quick.
What is...
Now, back to Hopalong Cassidy.
I thought you were smart, Cassidy, but you're as dumb as your partner. Falling for my trick.
Yeah, but I didn't see you. If it wasn't so darn dark, I'd have...
Never mind, California.
All right, Brody, open the door. I'm bringing him in.
Smooth work, Rucker.
Sure. I tailed him from the mine entrance and right up here to the door. Now go ahead, you two, and forget about your guns. I've got them.
Hoppy, California.
Ray, how are you?
Now, ain't it nice for old friends to meet again? Too bad you won't be seeing each other very long.
We'll be dead?
Well, now, that's smart of you, California. The first smart thing I've heard you say.
If I could just get my paws on you...
Rucker, you've done a lot of killing for a piece of grassland, haven't you? I see your game. Drive out the homesteaders, then you take over Paradise Flats.
Well, that's real interesting, Cassidy. Got anything else you know?
Yeah, I know a mountain lion didn't do the killing. You jump a man and knock him out. Then you cut him so there's plenty of blood. You make sure the lions will get him then.
Right again, Cassidy. But that won't happen to you.
Rucker, what do you aim to do with this bunch?
Brody, I'll tell you. Cassidy and his pal and Wilson are going to be found dead in the morning. Killed each other in a gunfight. We We won't know why they shot each other. It ain't none of our business anyways.
It won't work, Rucker.
Tell me one reason why not.
Well, because, Rucker, it seems to me you ought to know the reason yourself.
Keep talking, Cassidy. I like to hear you make a fool of yourself.
Yeah, and this is the guy we thought was so smart.
Well, Cassidy, did you figure out yet why it won't work?
It won't work because you still got the rest of our bunch to deal with.
That's good. The rest of your bunch. Cassidy, nobody comes into this country without my knowing it. And I know you two came in alone.
Hey, did I hear something?
Ah, Brody, there ain't nothing to hear.
Well, listen.
Wait, sounds like a whole gang.
Open the door, Rucker. See who they are.
I can't make 'em out. But whoever they are, here's a lead greeting for 'em.
California, take care. I've got this.
I've got it.
Hoppy, you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine, California. I've got this coyote pinned down.
This here Brody feels more like a skunk.
Ray, are you strong enough to get that gun over there?
I sure am, Hoppy. Seeing that fight just about cured me.
That's fine. We got our hands full, so you cover them.
I've got 'em, Hoppy. I just wish they'd make a move so I'd have an excuse to plug 'em.
Why, you...
California, take that rope and tie him up.
Right, Hoppy?
And now for a talk with the rest of our band. All right, Jimmy, come on in.
Jimmy?
A kid?
Gee whiz. What a mess. Hello, Dad.
Hello, son.
Hello, Hoppy.
Hello, Jimmy. Now, what have you got to say for yourself?
Nothing, sir, I guess. I'm sorry I didn't keep the horses down in the mine like I promised, but I just couldn't stay away.
I knew you couldn't, son. I know boys, and I knew you couldn't keep away for long. To tell you the truth, Jimmy, I was counting on your help.
Gee. Dad, Mom's outside.
Here, Jimmy?
Yes, she drove over in the wagon. Said she couldn't stay away. Here she is now.
Ray.
Oh, that's
Ray.
all right. I'm all right, Nellie.
I guess we're all right, except those two there on the floor. Brody and Rucker, a couple of mountain lions who are going to have a nice long rest in the zoo.
Hoppy, I guess there's nothing I can say but thanks.
Oh, forget it, Ray. Just tell the homesteaders they can come back to Paradise Flats. They won't be bothered anymore.
Hoppy, I don't know how we can ever repay you in California.
Oh, shucks, ma'am. Paying me's plumb easy. I never asked for more'n a good meal in my stomach.
There he goes again.
When a couple of land-grabbing cutthroats try attempted murder and blame it on to lions to cover up their crime, they'd better make certain first that Hoppy and California are nowhere in the vicinity. In our next adventure, Hoppy and California come into town to buy flour and bacon for the Bar 20 Ranch and find the townspeople in an uproar. The bank has gone broke, and the men responsible turn out to be the wastrels of what is. Hopalong Cassidy, starring William Boyd, is transcribed and produced in the West by Walter White, Jr. The Killers of Lion Canyon was written by Mike Jackson, with original music under the personal direction of Albert Glasser. All stories are based upon the characters created by Clarence E. Mulford. This is a Commodore production.
That was The Killers of Lion Canyon from Hopalong Cassidy, as originally heard December 29th, 1951. And that brings us to the end of hour number 1. But the good news is, hour number 2 is coming up. But first, these very important messages, so stay tuned. We're going to be right back. Welcome back to hour number 2 of Classic Radio Rewind. I am your host, Barry Slinker, and coming up in this hour is an episode from the Mercury Theater on the air. In this episode, features a classic tale from Alexander Dumas titled The Count of Monte Cristo, starring Orson Welles. It's a tale of young Edmond Dantes, who is imprisoned on the false testimony of his friends and later emerges as the wealthy Count of Monte Cristo. Listen carefully here at the very beginning, as this episode opens with a bulletin about German and Czechoslovakia. For the history and war buffs out there, this is an excellent little tiny piece of history that starts us off. From August 29th, 1938, here is the full, uninterrupted hour of the Mercury Theater on the Air's adaptation of Alexander Dumas's classic tale, The Count of Monte Cristo, starring Orson Welles.
Here is a special bulletin from the Press Radio Bureau. Berlin. The dispute over Czechoslovakia seems to be moving closer to a head. The newspaper, which speaks for the German Foreign Office, has published a statement advising Great Britain to warn Czechoslovakia that the demands of the Sudeten Germans must be satisfied if an acute situation is to be avoided. The paper urges action right away. This bulletin is from the Press Radio Bureau. Further details will be found in your newspapers.
The Mercury Theater on the Air. The Columbia Broadcasting System takes pride in bringing you Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the Air in another broadcast of the unique series which signalizes radio's first presentation of a complete theatrical producing company. For these programs, the regular member stations of the Columbia Broadcasting System are joined by the coast-to-coast network of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. Tonight, the Mercury Theater turns to another of the great narratives and adventure stories of the world of literature, The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. And here again is the director, the star, and producer of these broadcasts, Orson Welles.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. There is no reasonable explanation of Alexander Dumas. He was a rich man. We note with interest that he went bankrupt in the theater. He was a revolutionary. His grandfather was a marquis. His grandmother was a negress. He was born as Napoleon became emperor. He died in poverty as the Germans marched into France. He wrote The Count of Monte Cristo as a newspaper serial, and shortly after the last installment, a ball and a bullfight were organized for him in Seville, and finally in Algiers, the customs men let his baggage through without examination. Such things don't and can't happen today, but then, neither does Alexander Dumas himself, the wildest romance of a man who could and did openly maintain at 70 numerous establishments, and a literary factory as well, whose quantitative output is equaled in the arts only by Rubens' studio. There's a good story about what Dumas père told Dumas fils. Father, said the inventor of Camille, I have just read your latest book. Have you, my son, said Dumas père. What's it about? I am not sure I have. It is no secret and no shame either that the Chateau Monte Cristo was haunted by many ghostwriters, and that its owner signed his name to more books than anyone could ever write. It is not expected of Pharaoh that he build with his own hands his own pyramids, and the mere blueprint of one Dumas plot is an airtight alibi for a whole career. Of all these, out of question, the most gloriously complex, possibly the most impossible, a mathematical miracle, as perfect as watchworks and as big as Pittsburgh. Among hundreds, one Dumas plot persists as the most ingenious tall story ever perpetrated by the mind of man. God's vengeance on radio scriptwriters and your indestructible delight in spite of us. Here, then, is a humble 57 minutes worth of The Count of Monte Cristo. In the year 1815, I, Edmond Dantes, was first mate of the Pharaoh, bound for Marseille from Smyrna, Trieste, and Naples. The day we left Naples, the captain was attacked by a fever and died within 3 days. On the 28th day of September, we sighted the coast of France. Some hours later, we rounded the Chateau d'If and entered Marseille harbor. Monsieur Morel, the owner, came aboard.
Good day, Monsieur Morel.
Good day, Monsieur Danglars.
You've heard of the misfortune that's befallen us, Monsieur Morel?
Yes, you mean poor Captain Leclerc. He was a brave and an honest man.
And a first-rate seaman, growing old between sky and ocean.
Well, a man needs not be old, Danglars, to know his business. Edmond Dantes, your mate there, seems to understand his thoroughly.
Hey, let go the anchor! You see, he fancies himself captain already.
And so, in fact, he is.
Monsieur Morel, I'm at your service. You called me, I think.
Yes, Dantes. I'm told you stopped a day and a half at the Isle of Elba. Why?
I don't know, sir.
You don't know?
No, sir. It was to fulfill a last instruction of Captain Leclerc when he was dying. He gave me a packet to be delivered on the island.
You did right, Dentist, to follow Captain Leclerc's instructions, though if it were known that you've delivered a packet to the island, it might get you into trouble.
How could it get me into trouble, sir, if I don't even know what it was? I was delivering. Beg your pardon, sir. Yeah, the customs officer's coming alongside. Hey there, lower the companionway.
Well, Monsieur Morel?
Yes, Monsieur Danglars?
Edmond Dantes gave you satisfactory reasons for his landing at Elba?
Oh, yes, quite satisfactory.
So much the better.
Yes, it was Captain Leclerc who gave orders for this delay.
Talking of Captain Leclerc, has Dantes given you a letter from him?
To me? No, was there one?
I believe that besides the packet, Captain Leclerc had confided a letter to his care.
Of what packet are you speaking, Danglars?
Of that which Dantes left at the Isle of Elba.
How do you know he had a packet to leave at the Isle of Elba?
I was passing close to the door of the captain's cabin, which was partly open. I saw him give the letter and the packet to Dantes.
He didn't speak to me of it, but if there was any letter, he'll give it to me. Danglars, you'll report to the office this afternoon with the bills of lading and the stowage plans. Good day.
Good day, Monsieur Morel.
It's a wonderful thing to be home again after 3 months at sea. To see the places you've grown up in as a boy and the streets full of people. I found my father in the little dark room where he lived on the 4th floor of a house in the Rue du Noyer. Father.
Oh, Edmond.
Father, what's wrong?
I didn't expect you in the joy and surprise of seeing you so
Father.
suddenly.
Father, listen to me. I'm to be captain at 20, a captain with 3,000 francs pay and a share in the profits. Isn't that more than I could have hoped for?
Yes, dear boy. Much more than we could have expected.
Smart young dog, your son, eh, Dantes? In the doorway stood our neighbor, the tailor, Caderousse.
Captain, eh? I know someone below the church of Saint Michel who won't be sorry to hear about this. Eh, Dantes?
Mercedes?
That's who he means, Father. And now that I know your will, with your consent, I'll go to her.
Oh, go, dear boy, and heaven bless you in a wife, as it blessed me.
In a wife? How fast you go, Father Dantes. She isn't his wife yet, as far as I know.
She soon will be.
Yes, but you were wise to return when you did, my boy.
Oh, Caderousse, what do you mean by that?
Oh, I don't mean anything in particular. Mercedes is a very fine girl, and fine girls never lack suitors. There's one in particular, a cousin of hers, I think he is. Fernand Mondego. I've even heard it
What's
said... Oh, don't worry, my boy. Now that you're captain, who could refuse you?
You mean to say that if I were not a captain...
I didn't say that, my boy. I didn't say that. No offense meant, my boy. No offense.
I went into the street, down past the church of Saint Michel, into the fisherman's quarter. Mercedes! Mercedes!
Edmund, you're back.
We were in each other's arms. The burning sun of Marseille covered us with a flood of light. At first I saw nothing but her face raised to mine. The shining eyes, the eager lips. Then suddenly in the room behind us I saw the face of a young man, pale and threatening, And I saw that he had his hand on a knife at his belt.
Mercedes, who is this man?
Mercedes, I did not expect to meet an enemy here in your house.
He is no enemy. This is my cousin. We've been friends since childhood. Fernand is the man whom, after you, Edmond, I love best in the world.
Well, give me your hand, Fernand.
Is your name Edmond Dantes?
Fernand Mondego came forward. For an instant, I saw a look of deadly hatred in his eyes. Then, quickly, without giving me his hand, he went past us and out into the street. The betrothal feast is a gay affair in the South. Monsieur Morel removed every difficulty. The papers were soon drawn up. The arrangements were simple. Mercedes had no fortune. I had none to settle on her, and the wedding was set for 2. All our friends were there, and the crew of the Pharaoh and Mercedes people from among the fishermen.
The law.
Who among the persons here assembled answers to the name of Edmond Dantes?
I'm Edmond Dantes. What do you want of me?
Edmond Dantes, in the name of the law, I arrest you.
Arrest me? What have I done?
I cannot inform you. You'll be duly acquainted with the reason for your arrest at your first examination.
Officer, he is my son.
Smuggling, do you think?
He's done nothing wrong. He's a good boy. Edmund.
It is possible, in which case every reparation will be made.
Edmund.
Meantime, Edmond Dantes, you're under arrest. Why? Follow me.
Come in.
Sir, to be forth. Here is the prisoner.
Bring him in. Wait outside.
Yes, sir.
What is your name?
Are you the king's prosecutor, sir?
Yes. Your name?
My name is Edmond Dantes.
Give all the information in your power. Have you served under the usurper, Napoleon?
No, sir.
It is reported that your political opinions are extreme.
My political opinions? Alas, I never had any opinions. I'm hardly 19, sir.
What do you make of this, then? It is a letter, Monsieur Dantes. Well, read it.
Monsieur, the king's prosecutor is hereby informed by a friend of the throne and religion that one Edmond Dantes, mate of the ship Pharaoh, arrived this morning from Smyrna after having touched at Naples and the island of Elba. He's been entrusted by the usurper with a letter for the Bonapartist committee in Paris. Proof of this crime will be found on arresting him, for the letter will be found on his person or at his father's or in his cabin on board the Pharaoh. I'm sorry, sir, I don't understand it.
Do you know the writing?
No, sir.
Whoever did it writes well. Now, have you any enemies?
Not that I know of, sir.
Now, answer me frankly. Not as a prisoner to a judge, but as one man to another. Is there any truth in this accusation?
Well, not at all, sir. I swear by my honor as a sailor. Then I told him my story. I told him how Captain Leclerc on his deathbed had entrusted a packet to me and told me with his dying breath to deliver it to the island of Elba.
What did you do then?
What should I have done, monsieur? What every man would have done in my place. I sailed for the island of Elba. I delivered the packet and was given in return a letter to be delivered to a man here in Marseille. I did it because it was what my captain had told me to do. I landed here yesterday. That is all, sir.
I see. Well, that sounds like the truth. Now, give up this letter you have brought from Elba. Give us your word that you will appear if you're called, and go back to your friends.
I'm free then, sir?
Yes. But first, give me this letter.
Here you are, sir.
Very well. By the way, to whom were you to deliver this letter?
To Francois Noirtier of this city.
Francois Noirtier?
Yes, sir. Why, do you know this man?
A faithful servant of the king does not know conspirators. Have you shown this letter to anyone?
To no one, sir, on my honor.
Nobody knows that you are the bearer of a letter from the Isle of Elba addressed to Francois Noirtier?
Nobody, sir, except the person who gave it to me. Why, sir? What's the matter? What's the matter, sir?
You give me your word of honor that you're ignorant of the contents of this letter?
My word of honor, sir, but what's the matter? You're ill, sir. Shall I call for help?
No, stay where you are. It is for me to give orders here, not you. I'm sorry. I am no longer able, as I had hoped, to restore you to liberty. Before doing so, there are formalities to be gone through. I'll try to make them as short as possible. The principal charge against you, as you know, is this letter. And you see what I do with it. You see? I destroy it.
Oh, Monsieur de Villefort. Your goodness itself.
Now then. Do you trust me?
Order me, sir, and I'll obey.
Listen, this is not an order, but advice that I give you.
Yes, monsieur.
I shall keep you until this evening here in the Palais de Justice.
Yes, sir.
Should anyone else question you, don't breathe a word of this letter.
I promise.
You see, the letter is destroyed. You and I alone know of its existence. So if they question you about it, deny all knowledge of it.
Oh, I will, sir.
It was the only letter you had.
It was.
Swear it.
I swear.
Did you ring, monsieur?
A guard entered. Villefort whispered something in his ear, to which he replied by a motion of his head.
Follow this man, Monsieur Dantes. He has his orders.
I was taken to a cell. Presently it grew dark. Hours later, I heard steps coming along the corridor. By the torches they carried, I saw the glittering sabers and carbines of 4 gendarmes.
Edmond Dantes?
Have you come to fetch me?
Yes.
By the orders of the king's prosecutor?
I believe so. Come with us.
Is this carriage for me?
It is for you. Get in. Get on board.
Heave off there!
I sat in the stern sheets with a guard on each side of me in the little boat.
Hey there! King's business! Lower the chain!
The chain that closes the mouth of the port at night was lowered. Soon we were outside the harbor. My first feeling was one of joy at breathing the fine sea air again, then of sadness as I saw the lights of La Reserve away to the left of me and heard the sound of voices and music coming through the open windows. Now we had passed the Tête de Mort. We were in front of the lighthouse. We were about to double the battery. Where are you taking me?
You'll soon know.
But I want to know...
We are forbidden to give you any information.
Now we had left the Isle Rotoneau where the lighthouses stood, and we were going past the fisherman's quarter. A few lights were visible from the water. If I cried out, perhaps Mercedes might hear me. I remained silent, my eyes fixed on the lights. The boat went on, and presently a rising ground hid the lights. Then I saw that we were out to sea. Comrades! For the love of God, tell me where we're going.
You're a native of Marseille and a sailor, yet you don't know where you're going?
I have no idea.
Well, unless you're blind or have never been outside the harbor, you must know.
No.
Look around you.
Then suddenly, within 100 yards of me in the night, I saw a dark, frowning rock with a tower on it, like a great black scaffold. The Chateau d'If.
Quite right, my friend. The Chateau d'If.
Help! Help! Let me go! Help! 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 I'm innocent! I'm innocent! I'm innocent! I'm innocent!
Dantes, are you reasonable today?
I want to see the governor.
I've told you that's impossible.
Why is it impossible?
It's not allowed.
I want to see the governor.
Take my advice, my friend. Don't brood over what's impossible. It'll go out of your head.
You think so?
We had an instance of it here in this cell. A priest who was here before you. He kept offering the governor 1 million francs for his freedom. In the end, he went out of his head.
When was he in this cell?
2 years ago.
Was he set free?
No. He was put in a dungeon.
Listen to me. I want to see the governor. If you don't let me see the governor someday, I'll hide behind the door, and when you come in, I'll dash your brains out with a stool.
Rats, eh? Hey, put that stool down.
Are you going to let me see the governor?
Put it down. Put that stool down. Put it down.
Well, do I see the governor?
Yes. You shall see the governor at once.
That's better. It's better. Hurry. Hurry! Presently, the jailer returned with 4 soldiers.
By the governor's orders, take the prisoner to the floor below.
To the dungeon, then?
That's right. We put madmen with madmen.
You don't understand. I tell you, I'm innocent. I'm innocent. I'm innocent! Months went by underground, foul, humid, and dark. Every day, twice a day, morning and evening, the jailer came to my cell and put down the vile food and went away without speaking to me. My hair and nails had grown long, and my skin was white as a leper's. I'd been proud the first months. Now I began to beg. I begged to be moved from this dungeon to another. I begged to be allowed to walk about. I begged for books. Nothing was granted. I spoke to the jailer when he brought me my food. He rarely answered me. But to speak to a man, even though mute, was something. I tried to speak when alone, but the sound of my own voice terrified me. After what must have been 3 or 4 years, the governor of the Chateau d'If was transferred. The new man never troubled to learn my name. I was no longer Edmond Dantes. It's number 34. I took to praying, but not as men pray in prosperity. In my prayers, I laid out every action of my life before the Almighty. Still, I remained a prisoner. Then a deep gloom took possession of me, and then furious rage and savage thoughts of revenge. And wildly, I dashed myself against the walls of my prison. I tore at my own flesh with my nails, and then in the end, I began to think of dying. I swore that I would starve myself to death, so every morning and every evening I threw out through the small grated window all the food the jailer brought me, every bit of it, at first gaily and then thoughtfully and then with regret. I held the plate in my hand for an hour at a time, gazing at the morsel of bad meat, of tainted fish, of black and moldy bread. Then I remembered my oath and threw the dish away. One day, I found I had not sufficient force to throw my supper out of the window. The next morning, I could hardly see or hear. I knew I was dying. The day went by. I felt a sort of stupor creeping over me. The gnawing pain at my stomach had ceased. My thirst had abated. When I closed my eyes, I saw myriads of lights dancing before them. I was on the edge of that mysterious country called death. suddenly, a little after dark, I heard a hollow sound in the wall against which I was lying. I sat up and listened. It was a continual scratching, as if made by a huge claw or some iron instrument scraping against the stones. Then all was silent. Soon afterwards it began again, nearer and more distinct. Perhaps it was only a workman repairing a neighboring dungeon. I would soon find out. The sound continued. With my earthenware jug, I knocked against the wall where the sound came. Then, the sound stopped. The night passed in complete silence. I never closed my eyes. 3 days passed. 3 long days. And never a sound. At last, on the 4th evening, whoever it was quite close to me now. I wanted desperately to help him. But I had nothing, no knife or sharp instrument. I smashed my earthenware jug. That night I moved my bed out from the wall and started to scrape the plaster with a piece from my broken jug. Soon the fragments of plaster began to fall away. In 3 days, I uncovered a large stone. The next day, about noon, the stone began to move. Oh, my God, don't fail me now. Oh, my God.
Talks of God in this place.
Speak again. In the name of heaven. Speak.
Who are you?
A prisoner.
Of what country?
A Frenchman.
Your name?
Edmond Dantes.
How long have you been here?
Since the 28th day of February, 1815.
Your crime?
I'm innocent. And you? Who are you?
I am number 27.
How long have you been here?
Since 1804. 20 years.
All that night we worked. Then, just before dawn, a portion of the floor in my cell gave away. And from the bottom of this passage, the depth of which it was impossible to measure, appeared the head, then the shoulders, and lastly the body of a man. To this man, I owe all that I possess, all that I know, all that I've become. In the prison, he was known as the Mad Priest. I never learned his name. For 8 years, we saw each other every day, using the tunnel he had dug through the solid rock, concealing the mouth of the passage with stones carefully fitted in place. By the sundial he had traced on the wall of his cell, we knew the hours of the guard's visit. The rest of the day we were together. He had been a great scholar in his day, and all that he knew, he taught me with infinite loving patience, day after day, year after year. Then, one morning when I went down, I found him standing in the middle of his cell, pale as death.
Quick, Dantes, quick. Listen to what I have to say.
What is it, Father? Tell me, I beseech you. What's the matter?
I am dying. Help me to my bed. See, Half my body is paralyzed already.
Here, Father.
Thank you, my son. Now listen to me. All is over with me. This night or tomorrow, I shall be dead.
But, Father...
I know the illness. There is no hope. And I shall never leave this place now. Before I die, there's something I want to give you.
In his hand, he held a morsel of paper tightly rolled together. A half-burned paper on which were some lines of Gothic character, traced with a peculiar kind of ink.
This paper, my child, is my treasure. From this day forth, it belongs to you.
Your treasure?
Oh, yes. I know what's passing through your mind at this moment. Even now, you, like all the others. But be assured, my child, I am not mad. This treasure exists. Read what it says.
This treasure, which may amount to declared April 14th.
See?
I see nothing but broken lines and unconnected words, Father.
Yes. To you who read them for the first time. But to me, who have grown pale over them by many nights' study, who have reconstructed every phrase, completed every thought. Have you ever heard of the great Spada treasure?
I've heard sailors talk of it, yes.
For 10 years, I worked for the House of Spada. That paper you have in your hand is what is left of the will of Cardinal Spada, murdered by Roderick Borgia. Now, take this and put the two pieces together and read.
The 25th day of April, 1498, being invited to dine by His Holiness Alexander VI, and fearing for my life, I declare to my nephew Guido Spada, my sole heir, that I have buried in a place he knows, in the caves of the island of Monte Cristo, all I possessed of ingots, gold, money, jewels, and diamonds, which treasure may amount to nearly 2 million of Roman crowns, which you will find in the farthest angle of the island cave. And this treasure I bequeath and leave entire to him as my sole heir, Rodrigo Spada. 10 million crowns.
Yes, 100 million francs of our money. Think of the good a man could do in the world with 100 million francs.
Yes.
And now, I am dying. With my dying breath, I leave this treasure to you. Pray God you'll be more fortunate than I.
But I have no right to it, sir.
You are my son, Dantes. You are the child that God sent to console me in my captivity.
Two days later, in fearful agony, he died. I closed his eyes and laid him out to rest as well as I could. That night, the governor of the prison came down to look at the body.
Well, the madman's gone to look after his treasure.
With all his millions, he hasn't enough to pay for a shroud, eh? Is the iron heated?
Yes, sir.
Apply it to the soles of his feet.
From where I stood in the secret passage, I could smell the sickening odor of burnt flesh.
He's dead, all right. Poor devil. He was a priest. Get him the newest sack you can find.
What time shall we bury him, sir?
The usual time.
When the cell was empty again, I went in. On the bed at full length. And faintly lighted by the light of a single candle was visible a sack of coarse cloth. In it was stretched a long and stiffened form. I unlaced the sack, drew the corpse out, and carried it through the tunnel to my cell. I laid it on my bed, turned the head to the wall, and covered it with a sheet. For the last time, I kissed the ice-cold brow. Then I went back to the dead man's cell.
There's a job I can do now.
Right you are. Cold as the devil up there in that clear.
I could hear steps in the passage as the guards came down with the stretcher. Quickly, I laced up the sack around my body. I lay stiff, hoping they would not hear the beating of my heart.
Here we go. You take the head. I'll take the feet.
He's heavy enough for an old man.
They say every year adds half a pound to the bones.
Forward, march. Careful now.
Steady, while I open this door.
Lord, it's cold up here.
Yeah, pleasant morning for a dip in the ocean.
A bit chilly, I'd say.
Have you got the weight?
Here it is.
Tie it on, around his feet. Yeah, that's right. Tight.
See if you can do it any tighter.
Yeah, that's all right. That'll sink him.
All right now. Are you ready? 1, 2.
Hey, wait a minute. Get nearer the edge. The last one was mashed on a rock. We got the blame for it.
All right, then. Come on, I'm freezing to death. Ready? Let's go. 1, 2, 3.
You are listening to the CBS presentation of Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the Air in Alexander Dumas' Count of Monte Cristo. The performance will continue in just a moment. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System. We continue now with the Count of Monte Cristo, starring Orson Welles with the Mercury Theater on the Air.
In September 1834, there arrived in Marseille a man of about 38 or 40, of a pallor that was almost livid. He gave the impression of a man who had been enclosed for a long time in a tomb. Soon after landing, he inquired for a man by the name of Dantes. And hearing that he'd been dead for the past 14 years, he asked for a tailor called Caderousse. Are you Gaspard Caderousse?
I am.
Let's go inside, my friend. I have to talk to you.
Well, what is it?
Monsieur Caderousse, in the year 1814 or 15, did you know a young sailor by the name of Dantes?
Dantes? Yes. Why do you ask? Is he alive?
No, he died in prison.
Died, eh? What did he die of?
What do young, strong men usually die of in prison? He died of sorrow and a broken heart. And before he died, he begged me to clear his name. He gave me the names of the people here in Marseille who had been his friends. There are 3, he said, besides my father and the girl I was betrothed to. One of them is Caderousse.
He said that?
The second is Danglars.
Danglars?
The third is Fernand Mondego.
Mondego?
You know these men?
Know them? Where in heaven's name have you been, my friend? There isn't a man in France who doesn't know them. Danglars is a millionaire, has a banking house of his own. Baron Danglars, he calls himself now. And Mondego's a count and a cabinet minister and an officer of the Legion of Honor, with a house in Paris a block wide. I could tell you something about these 2. Not that it'll do much good now that he's dead.
Who?
That young fellow you were talking about, Dantes. I've a good mind to tell you anyway. Do you know who sent Edmond Dantes to prison? Well, I do. It was 2 men who were jealous of him. One for love and one for ambition. And do you know who they were? I'll tell you. Mondego and Danglars.
I thought they were his friends.
That's what he thought.
What did they do?
They denounced him to the police as a traitor.
And was he a traitor?
No more than you or I.
Which of the 2 denounced him?
Both, monsieur. It was Danglars who wrote the letter, and Mondego who put it in the post.
When was this letter written?
At La Reserve. The night before the wedding.
How do you know? Were you there?
I was at the next table. They thought I was too drunk to hear.
I see. How about this girl Dantes was betrothed to?
Mercedes?
Yes. Yes, that's her name. What happened to her?
Well, sir, that's a sad story. When Dantes was arrested, she was nearly mad with grief. Pitiful it was. 6 months went by and there was no news of him. And every day there was her mother telling her he was dead and telling her to marry Mondego. She came to see old Dantes. Edmund is dead, he said to her. If he weren't, he would have returned to us. Then the old man died, and that left her quite alone. Still she waited, and still no word from him. Then, in the end, after a year, she married Mondego. And now she's one of the greatest ladies in Paris.
A year. She waited a year.
What did you say?
Nothing. Nothing. You say Edmond Dantes' father died.
Yes, soon after his son disappeared.
What did he die of?
If you ask me, he died of starvation.
Starvation?
The doctor had another name for it, but I know better. He locked himself up in his room and died of starvation.
Later that day, the stranger appeared at the Palais de Justice and asked to see the prison records for the year 1815. He obtained permission to go through the case of a certain Edmond Dantes, imprisoned that year and subsequently reported as dead. He found everything arranged in due order: the denunciation, examination, and the magistrate's marginal notes. He read the examination and noted with surprise that the name of Francois Noirtier, to whom the fatal letter had been addressed, never once appeared in it. There was a notation in the margin which read as follows: Edmond Dantes, an inveterate criminal, to be kept in complete solitary confinement and to be strictly watched and guarded. It was signed de Villefort. Below, in another hand, was written, prisoner killed while attempting to escape. That night, the stranger left Marseille, going north. Villefort, Mondego, Danglars. Villefort, Mondego, Danglars. Find out everything there is to know about them. Every move they've made. Every word they've said. Every line they've written.
Yes, sir.
Find out about their homes, their wives, their children, their friends.
Yes, sir.
Find out where they got their power, how they made their money, whom they robbed, whom they cheated, whom they murdered. One day in November, Baron Danglars, head of the banking house of that name, received a visit from a new client. Monsieur le Baron Danglars.
I have the honor of addressing the Count of Monte Cristo.
You have, sir.
Have you been in Paris long, sir?
Since this morning.
I have a letter here, sir, from the firm of Thompson and French in Rome. A letter of credit in your name.
Good.
And I take it that beginning today my checks will be duly honored by your house.
In this letter, sir, there is one thing not quite clear.
Indeed.
According to this letter, the Count of Monte Cristo is to have unlimited credit on our house.
And what is there in that simple fact that requires explanation?
Merely the term unlimited.
Are you suggesting that Thompson and French are not looked upon as solvent bankers?
No. It was not their solvency that I spoke of.
I see.
But the word unlimited in financial affairs is so extremely vague a term.
To me, Baron, the word means exactly what it says. It means without limitation.
I assure you, sir, that up to the amount of $1 million...
I beg your pardon.
I said that should you be hard-pressed, were you even to require $1 million
$1
francs...
million? My dear sir, for a trifle like that, I assure you I should never have troubled to open an account. 1 million francs. Excuse my smiling when you speak of a sum that I am in the habit of carrying in my pocketbook.
I admit I am hardly
If you would
accustomed-
prefer not to handle this account, Baron Danglars, I have letters similar to yours addressed to Baring of London and Rothschild of the city. You need have no scruples in declining.
I assure you I never
No,
entertained...
No, you merely wish to be convinced that your stockholders ran no risk, nothing more. Very sound, Baron Danglars. I understand they include some of the greatest names in France. Am I right? The Duc de Mondego? The Baron de Villefort?
It is not generally known that these gentlemen...
Of course. Now we understand one another. I should like to draw tomorrow the sum of, shall we say, 6 million francs, half gold, half notes.
6 million francs? As you say, sir.
If I should require more, I shall let you know. Oh, by the way, Baron Danglars, buy for me tomorrow 10,000 shares of Austrian Commonwealth.
You have some information, sir, about this stock?
You will find, sir, that I never gamble, except in certainties. Rarely has Paris been more intrigued than it was that winter by the mysterious Count de Monte Cristo. Of his title, nothing was known, save that he derived it from a small, uninhabited island off the coast of Corsica. The source of his fortune was equally obscure, yet his wealth seemed inexhaustible. The paintings in his house in the Champs-Élysées were valued at 3 million francs, and it was known that for his carriage wheels alone he had paid 1 million francs, yet far from diminishing. By the middle of December, successful speculation had increased his deposit at Danglars' bank from 4 to nearly 6 million francs. At the end of December, a ball was given by the Count and Countess de Mondego.
Monsieur, Madame de Noville, Monsieur le Baron de Villefort, Monsieur and Madame de Meller, Monsieur le Comte de Monte Cristo.
Mercedes, may I present the most talked-of man in Paris, the Count of Monte Cristo, Countess de Mondego.
I am deeply honored.
What is it, Mercedes? What is it? Are you ill?
It's nothing, Fernando. Perhaps the heat of this room. It was kind of you to come, sir. Will you give me your arm, Count de Monte Cristo?
I am honored, madame.
Is it true, Count, what everyone is saying about you in Paris? That you've seen so much, traveled so far, and suffered so deeply?
I have suffered deeply, madame.
Now you are happy?
No doubt, since no one hears me complain.
And your present happiness, has it softened your heart?
My present happiness does not equal my past misery.
Are you not married?
I married. No, madame.
You are alone, then?
I am alone.
You have no sister, no father?
I have none.
How can you exist thus, without anyone to hold you to life?
Madame, long ago, I loved a girl.
was on the point of marrying her, madame, when we were separated. I thought she loved me well enough to wait for me, and even to remain faithful to my grave. When I returned, she was married. Perhaps my heart was weaker than that of most, and I suffered more than they would have in my place. That's all, madame.
And you've still preserved this love in your heart. It is true, one can love only once. Did you ever see her again?
Never.
And you have forgiven her for all she has made you suffer?
Yes, I have forgiven her.
But only her? Do you still hate those who separated you? You still want to punish them?
They will be punished, madame. But it is not I who will punish them. It is their own past.
Danglars, Villefort, Mondego.
What have you found out about these men? Danglars.
Danglars, native of Marseille. Banker, 3 times bankrupt. Convicted of using charity funds.
Yes.
Recently suspected of plunging heavily with borrowed funds.
Villefort.
Villefort, native of Marseille. Formerly King's agent in that city, where he acted as Bonaparte's spy under the name of Francois Noirtier.
Noirtier?
Known to accept bribes. At present, Prosecutor General at King's Court. Said to speculate heavily with Danglars' bank.
Mondego.
Mondego, native of Marseille. Dismissed from naval service for theft. Tried for murder, 1816. Deserted French army, 1824. 1828, betrayed Ali Pasha to Turks for 2 million piastres. Believed involved heavy losses Danglars' bank.
Monsieur Danglars.
He's in the private office, Baron de Villefort.
Good morning, Villefort.
Hello, Mondego.
You're late, Villefort.
What is it, Danglars? You sent for me in court. I hope it's something good this time. We need it.
Just arrived, a private message to the Count of Monte Cristo from Thompson and French, Rome. They've never been wrong yet.
Does he know you intercept his messages, Danglars?
Who cares?
Does it say? Read it.
Secret treaty signed tonight. Anglo-Italian due sharp rise. Buy all available shares, Thompson and French.
Well?
We are going to buy.
Danglars, I'm worried. Everything you've touched has gone wrong lately. Those Belgian bonds, we lost $500,000 on them.
Whose fault was that? On whose information?
Can I have a Danglars if the government changes its mind?
Gentlemen.
Our situation is desperate. We've got to plunge. Things have been going badly lately. We have no choice. If it weren't for Monte Cristo's deposits, we'd have been bankrupt 3 weeks ago. If that money should be called today or tomorrow or the next day, this bank is ruined.
Danglars, I don't see what that has to do with us.
Oh, you don't you? If I go, you go. Make no mistake about that.
Gentlemen.
What do you propose to do about it, Danglars?
It's our only chance to get out. I propose to buy every share of Anglo-Italian that comes into this market.
With what?
You forget, gentlemen. The Count of Monte Cristo has 6 million francs deposited in this bank.
And what about this message? Does Monte Cristo get to see it?
This message, gentlemen, was lost in transmission.
shares of Anglo-Italian.
102.
104. Sold. 200 Anglo-Italian.
105.
110.
Sold.
500 Anglo-Italian.
110.
115. 117. 125. Sold. 300 shares of Anglo-Italian.
130.
135. 300 shares at 150.
100 shares of Anglo-Italian.
160.
175.
Well,
62,000 shares.
How much profit does that show?
So far, $750,000. And it's only a beginning.
Who was selling?
I don't know. I couldn't find out. Come in. Well, what is it?
The Count of Monte Cristo to see you, sir.
Tell him I'm not...
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I hope I don't intrude. Danglars? De Villefort?
Mondego? How fortunate. Gentlemen, I'm here to say goodbye.
Goodbye?
I have decided to leave Paris for a while. Perhaps forever. Before I go, there are certain things I have left to do. Monsieur Danglars, I am in need of money for my journey. My credit on your books as of tonight is 6 million francs, less about 1 million to cover certain stocks I sold short today. Here is a check for 5 million francs made out to cash. My carriage is outside. I will take half in notes, half in gold.
But surely...
I beg your pardon?
Surely, sir, such a very large sum. If you could conveniently wait for this money for 24 or for the most, 48
I told
hours.
you. Baron Danglars, I'm leaving Paris tonight. Oh, by the way, Baron, you may be interested to learn. Less than an hour ago, Anglo-Italian went into liquidation. At this moment, that stock is worth less than the paper on which it's printed.
But the message from Thompson and French...
That message was sent on my instructions 3 days ago. You see, gentlemen, I own Thompson and French.
It is not true that the treaty...
As far as I know, Mondego, there never was any question of a treaty.
But it means...
It means that you 3 gentlemen are ruined. It means that you, Danglars, have robbed the poor and the helpless for the last time.
I'll prosecute you for this. I'll issue a warrant for your arrest.
I don't think you will, Baron de Villefort. In the first place, that message was addressed to me. In the second place, since noon today, there has been in the hands of the Minister of Justice a complete record of the career of Francois Noirtier, Baron de Villefort, spy, thief, forger, informer,
What are you?
Perjurer. Who am I? Still you do not know? I know you very well, Fernand Mondego. And tomorrow all Paris will know you for what you are. Deserter, traitor, murderer.
Who are you? What have we done to you?
You condemned me to a slow, horrible death. You killed my father. You deprived me of love, of freedom, of happiness.
Stop! In God's name, who are you?
I am the specter of a wretch you buried in the dungeons of the Chateau d'If. You guess it now, do you not? Or rather, you remember it. For notwithstanding all my sorrows and my tortures, I show you now a face which has the happiness of revenge and which is young again. A face you must often have seen in your dreams since your marriage, Mondego, with Mercedes, my betrothed. Yes, Mondego. I am Edmond Dantes.
Tonight, the Columbia Broadcasting System, through its affiliated stations coast to coast and the network of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, has brought you a performance of Alexander Dumas' great adventure story, The Count of Monte Cristo, as dramatized in the first-person singular by Orson Welles and played by the Mercury Theater on the air. In the cast this evening, Ray Collins as the Abbé Faria, George Coulouris as Monsieur Morel, Edgar Barrier as de Villefort, Eustace Wyatt as Caderousse, Paul Stewart as Old Dantes, Sidney Smith as Fernand Mondego, Richard Wilson as the officer, William Allen as a merchant, Anna Stafford as Mercedes, and Orson Welles as Edmond Dantes, the Count of Monte Cristo. The orchestra was directed by Alexander Semler, and Davidson Taylor supervised the production for CBS. Dan Seymour speaking. Next week at this same time, another great narrative brought to life by Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the air. The Man Who Was Thursday, by G.K. Chesterton. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
That was The Count of Monte Cristo, starring Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the Air, from August 29th, 1938. I'll be back with more in just a moment. Welcome back to Classic Radio Rewind. As a reminder, coming up this Thursday on June 6th, Old Time Radio USA is honored and proud to air our D-Day Remembrance Special. This is a special 34-hour tribute featuring the first 34 hours from CBS Radio from June 6 and 7, 1944. And this all begins at 2 a.m. Eastern Time over on our Old Time Radio USA streaming station. We've made it super easy to listen to all of our live stations. You can go to the WOTR Radio Network website at www.wotrradionetwork.com, or you can listen there on the website directly and find all the different platforms and ways you can listen. And the best part, it's all free, all day, every day. And with that, wraps up this episode this week of the Classic Radio Rewind podcast, but I'll be back next week with more from the golden age of radio. So for the WOTR Radio Network and Classic Radio Rewind, I thank you so much for listening, and until next time, we'll see you on the air. And this is Barry Sunker saying goodbye for now.